G'day viewers, today we're going to play through Fire and Flames, a scenario on Cajon Pass in Train Sim World 3. Welcome to San Bernadino Yards. Today you'll be taking a set of empty freight cars up to Basto. We've had reports of a small wildfire south of Cajon. It shouldn't be a problem, but we'll keep you updated. Good-o. Alright then, set the generator fields on. Oh, let's do our gauge lights first. Gen field, reverser, forwards. Let's put our headlights on before we release the brakes. Banking com. And release that. G'day mate, all good to go? Alright then, let's try and grab a couple of notches here. That'll do nicely. Just kill the bells. Yeah, how's our path looking? We're okay. We're not going very far though, so I don't want to go too fast. 13 miles an hour will be fine. Ooh, that's a dry river. Needs a bit of water, I think. Alright, nearly at our thing. We'll just use the independent brake to start slowing down. It applies and releases much quicker than the train brake, and when you're only running with light locomotives, it's the way to go. Alright then, it's a warning to change some manual junctions, so let's just have a quick look before we do anything. We need to change that one. That sounds like it's all of them, but let's just have a quick check just to be safe. Looks good, looks good. What I'm looking at is these switches. See, as long as they match the blue path when you highlight them, so that one would be off path, that one is on path. And we're going to pop down there and get some carriages. Excellent. Okay, let's jump into reverse, independent brake off, a couple of honks, just to let people know we're moving. And we'll grab ourselves a couple of notches again. One more. Alright, 3, fine. Go for your life, rail driver. Off we go. Stop that hideous bell. Again, we don't want to get up too much speed. So right now we are doing 20 miles an hour, which is plenty in the yard. We're heading round the curve up here. Got a yellow signal coming up. It's just warning us we're going into an occupied road. In reality, if we were making this move, there would be a switchman on that lead locomotive up there who would be letting me know by radio that it's clear to proceed. And he would be calling out these signals to me. That one up there is flashing red. Quite safe to run through. 500 odd yards to go. You can change your measurements to yards or feet. I find I prefer yards because in the metric routes, when it's in metres, yards and metres are pretty close to being the same. Not exactly, but pretty close, so I find it hard to judge when it's in feet. Now, if you're using the train length device, you might actually want to set it in feet, just so that they're on the same measurement. We're coming into our siding now, so I've just braked quite a bit to slow us down. Let's jump up the back there now. Let's come over this side. slow down a bit more. Nice whoop from the big compressor there. You want to bring it to a stand just before you're going to couple up. This is called a safety stop. That lets the person on the ground get in and make sure that the knuckles are open. They are. And they would radio or give a hand signal to the engineer or driver or pilot even, depending on where you come from. A little bit of throttle. And then brakes. There we go. We're all tangled up. Let's get back in the cab. Kill the bell. Reverse her into forwards. Alright. That would suggest our path's set, but let's get moving. The back of the train's at 84 pounds, so yeah, it's probably pretty safe to grab a couple of notches. 3 will do. Want to be nice and gentle. So drop that bell off again. Now, just to be on the safe side, even though it hasn't said to look at our path, let's just have a quick look. Follow it through. Looks good so far. What's that one saying? That one's off to the right. That's okay. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to tell. And then we'll be coming around here. There's a red signal up there. That's probably because of this guy. And then we'll be... yeah, it's definitely because of him, because we're crossing onto that track. Okay, let's get rid of the map. The whole train's moving now. You can see the EOT move on the screen there. Let's just make these a little dimmer, I think. That's a bit better. This one doesn't matter so much, but because we don't really use it, it's a bit easier to read that way. Did I turn on banking com before? I'm not sure, actually. Well, I'll tell you what, to solve that problem, let's just put this back into neutral. Put this back into the neutral position as well. Turn on banking com. Back into forwards. And then let's grab some notches. You wouldn't normally do that on the move, but I couldn't remember if I turned on banking com, and in fact I hadn't. So what banking com basically does, it pretends that there's a crew in the rear set of locos, or the rear and mid set if your train's got them, and it copies your reverser, your throttle, and your dynamic brake handle onto the locomotives down the back. So it's just like you had a crew down there, and you were saying, righto mate, I need some more. .24's enough coming through the yard. Just cruise our way through now. On our way to Barstow. Remember to bring your lunch, mate. A couple of water bottles. Bit of sunscreen, maybe. That dome of yours hasn't got a lot of protection there. You might need a hat. He never talks much, but that's okay. Plenty of colourful containers in the background there. Our train's not a massive one, and I can tell I needn't bother turning on banking com because there's nothing up the back. Didn't need to. That's alright. Over there is the San Bernadino Amtrak station. No Amtrak services in the Cajon Pass game. Hopefully one day we'll get some Amtrak diesel capability in Train Sim World, and then bit of luck, we'll be able to open up the path through that station. That would just be kind of cool. Green signal up ahead. And as we come passing around this corner, we will start climbing quite a lot. So we'll power up soon. Coming into the 60 mile an hour zone as well. And of course over here in the distance, we have in fact got a cactus juice sign. Hello, Brandon. Let's just drop down here so we don't whack our camera on the bridge. Wouldn't want to break it. Under the bridge into the shadows, and the eye adaptation takes over. Out on the main line now. When the back of our train gets to the point that we were just at, we can accelerate. We should be pretty safe to power up now. Jump back in the cab, you can see what I'm doing. Notch up to there for a moment. Let the effort build. So I'm watching the effort on the screen here. We're allowed to do 60 mile an hour. Let's just grab another. You always want to gentle up the notches. Gentle up, gentle down. Look after your machine. Look after your machine, it'll look after you. Green signal. On a real railway, the crew usually do call the signal aspects to each other. It's a good habit to get into. Because even though you're by yourself with Mr. Talkie, it doesn't hurt to get into some good practices. Up to 46 mile an hour now. We'll leave the juice where it is. Yes, 44 C4 does sound quite nice. We're approaching our maximum speed, but we are coming into a 70 mile an hour zone as well. There'll probably be a little bit of overlap there. This is the faster part of the route. At the other end, it's a little slower because of the hills. Big hills. So we're in a 70 zone now, but the back of our train has to pass that point. Will it by the time we hit 60? Yeah, probably. So we'll just keep the juice flowing. Sorry, not Jake. The locomotives on Cajon Pass, and indeed all the TSW3 routes, come set up ready to rock and roll. You don't have to worry about charging brakes or anything like that, which is quite good. Over there on our right is a defect detector. Ones on this route don't call out on the radio, unfortunately. That would be lovely. I think that school bus might have been taking some lessons in drifting. I think I might have an outside. Got some good speed out of the BNSF pumpkins. Not a particularly long train, but that's okay. starting our climb up the hill. Green signal. Pretty sure that truck was driving in the road. Must be very heavy. What do you think of the new skies? I kind of like them. The lighting does take a little bit of getting used to, but once you do, I think most people will probably appreciate it over what we had before. The only downside of the new lighting is when you have it with the cab, it can look a little bright outside at some times of the day. Keeping the juice full on still, notch 8, also known as highball or run 8. Another very dry river. You can tell we're going uphill because even though we are in Run 8, have been for quite a while, we are slowing down. So even though it doesn't look very steep, it actually is. I don't believe I've seen clouds hanging around the hills before. That I really like. That's nice. Way cool. I do tend to find the eye adaptation, the haze, more like a digital camera than the human eye, but I still quite like the way it works. Another defect detector down there. Parked sets on our left here and something coming down our right. Let's jump down here and watch. It's pretty cool to see stuff going past both sides at the same time. Driven 100 miles apparently. There you go. Small issue with that mountain on the left there. It's kind of half a mountain. storage yard, maybe? This thing looks like a prison. So I guess maybe it is. Maybe it's just some big warehouse or something. An awful lot of security if it's a warehouse, though. It does have a lot of doors. It could be a warehouse. It's got trucks parked at it, so I guess it's a warehouse. It just looks like a prison. Green signal scenery is quite narrow. An update on that wildfire. The fire department are on site. The fire is not under control. There is a slight haze, but track visibility is still good. And right on cue it gets hazy. As an Aussie, smoky skies are kind of familiar. The Northern Hemisphere is discovering our way of life, being burnt and regrown, burnt and regrown again. A changing world. Another dry river. It is getting extremely hazy now. I did read somewhere that diesel engines actually run better in smoke when they're doing clear air. Not sure if it's true. Maybe someone can tell me in the comments. What do you reckon, mate? Oh, with smoke I might shut my windows. Don't want to fill the cab up with smoke. You don't really see it on the HUD, but we've got a green up there. Another update on that wildfire. The fire is still growing, with the mountainside now covered in smoke. The tracks are clear, but visibility around Cajon will be lower than usual. Keep your windows closed and remain cautious out there. Yeah, it's getting a little hard to see. And we have a yellow signal ahead. But I wouldn't know that yet because, you know, that's a HUD. But being a prudent driver, since we can't see, we would let our dispatcher know that we're going to slow down. We'll just let gravity do that job for us. Certainly not much to see now, that's for sure. So much for the really nice scenery of Cajon Pass. It's missing. But that's okay. Just going to notch up a little again because I want to try and maintain about 40 mile an hour. Because I can stop fairly comfortably from this speed. Give it another one. 2 even. Thanks, rail driver. Could probably even safely go back into notch 8 because I don't think we'll speed up very much. Perhaps we will. Let's just let that sit for a bit and see how it goes. The good old hurry up and wait method. Now throw that little friendly HUD up in the top right hand corner there. We know we're doing approaching a yellow signal, which means the one after could be red. Lose 1 notch down to 6. You see, mate? Yeah? As long as you can see. We do indeed have a yellow up there. Flashing yellow. Two miles and we have another flashing yellow. We've also got a 40 zone coming up. Road crossing coming. Give them lots of warning since it's smoky. Miles an hour on the money. Does feel like we're climbing again. We're losing some speed. There's a friend. Let's pop out and have a look. Hello, friend. That's a big one. Tonic water, if you're wondering. I'm on the real railway tomorrow. No alcohol allowed for 24 hours. I noticed the Winnebago driver up on the hill there certainly wasn't slowing down for the smoke. This is another yellow signal above our track. It's a double yellow this time. Plenty of hazy smoke. Ooh, the road crossing. keeping an eye on that signal up there. Don't know why, but I always like watching these open and close. Don't know what it is about them. Do they open? And there's another one coming. Oh, there they go. One mile to another yellow. Plenty of smoke. Not easing up at all. Got to slow down in a mile, but we're only 4 miles over that, so we'll just leave it where it is at the moment. Drop a notch or two when we get a little closer. Gravity is on our side, heading in this direction. Glad I've got the HUD turned on, because I don't know about you, but I couldn't see that from nuts until I was too close to it. Yellow. The fire spread has slowed down. We've advised to stop sending further trains until the smoke is clear. Continue past Cajon until you are clear of the smoke. So we're not sending any more trains, but you can keep going. And the school bus. Yeah, what now? Let's drop a couple of notches and start slowing down for that slower zone. Sorry, the smoke's making me cough. Track change. We are down to the required 35, so I'm just going to notch up to 4 to try and maintain it. Oh, we're going up the right-hand track today. Little unofficial crossing, no one there though. Works depot. Smoke's getting clearer. Climbing quite hard now. The nice dinosaur tree over there. Fire chopper maybe? just pop up one because we are slowing down rather a lot. Still want to be ready for the 30-mile-an-hour zone. Up the top there. How are we going in progress? That's a go via, so we've got a little while to go yet. Notches. So we're a fair way off our approach speed up here of 30. We are allowed to do 35 right now. What do we got on the billboards today? All by rail. Horizon is the limit. Fair enough. And same on this side. Another yellow here. Shortest bridge yet, even though it's only a little bridge. Now we're going on our tasks. T to get into the task menu. We're not far to go. We are also speeding rather a lot. Bring this down, back down to idle. Let gravity do its thing. As we pass through 34, I will notch back up. Just pull up to 2, just to keep the train nice and stretched out. Got to keep it comfortable for the hobos up the back there. Let's just grab another. Quite a different feeling coming up here in the smoke. Quite like it. Another defect detector coming up on our right here. Would be really cool if these announced themselves in the game one day. Normally you got the other tracks to the left there. So this is a little bit of a treat, I guess, to come up here. Passenger trains allowed to do 4-0 through here. It's quite the landscape. I have been to this area of the US, and this is quite accurate. At our go via. You should be getting clear of the smoke now. Stop at Summit until we can clear the backed up traffic at Hesperia. So how far does it want me to go? Not all that far. 4 miles. Visibility is clearing, got a fair way to go, so I think putting some power on is appropriate. Freight 40, passenger 55. Or was it 45? Check the next one. Doesn't matter for us anyway. Passenger trains are allowed to go faster because they are usually smaller and lighter. Normally those little boxes there would say something like ANSF, defect detector, milepost, whatever it is. BNSF, defect detector. Milepost 1906, or whatever it is. No defects, no defects. Total axles 104. Speed 38. It's time to start bringing it down anyway. So we do want to stay under our 40. Joining up with the other tracks here. Not terribly far from the summit. It's much easier to get up this hill than down it. going down that hill, you've really got to keep an eye on your speed. Otherwise, it might get just a little bit exciting around the corners. Especially that big one at the bottom. 3 miles to Summit. Even though it says we're allowed to go up to 55 shortly, I'm not going to, because we'll be stopping soon enough. And I doubt we could anyway. Actually, no, we probably could, because we're going to start going downhill soon. We're almost at the crest. The gradient here is about 0.6. So it's not too big a deal for the locomotives. Not like the section we came up. We have a solid yellow on the bottom. And a whistle board. Applied a minimum brake set, and I've bailed off the independents because I want to have my dynamics. In 2.3 miles we do need to be stopping for a red signal. Just let the brakes do their thing. When we get down to 30 mile an hour, I will release the train brake, sorry. Near enough. Train brake off. It's only a very light application anyway, and that will recover very quickly. Goes the compressor. It's a very characteristic sound of these locomotives, and it is a pleasant aspect to have them in this way. This is the first Gevo locomotive that's actually got the noise implemented. This is quite good. .5 miles to go. Bit over 1 mile to go. Bring the dynamics in harder because we are going down a much steeper hill now. So I'm going to take them all the way out. bringing our train back under control. Don't want to go too slow though, so let's bring it back to about 3 will do for now. Let's just see how that does for speed. With 3 will hold it now that we've slowed down it again. Just got to watch our speed a little so we don't go through a spad, because it's not far to go. Back to our normal sky now. The new cloud systems I do really like. Start slowing us down again, 800 yards down. We are going into steeper track now as well. Those are our signals up there that we have to stop for. Notch 5 on the dynamics right now. And they are slowing us down quite nicely. Possibly a little too nicely. Just notch them back again, or we're not going to make it there. We're going to stop early. 400 yards to go. And that signal up there should be, and is, red. Yards to go. I'm going to go for a minimum set, and I'm actually going to drop the dynamics out now. $100 yards to go. Give it a nice solid set on the train brakes now. Might even have to release. Stopping a little early. See if that's good enough for the scenario. No, it's not. Alright, brakes off. So notch her up again as the brakes release. You don't really need to notch because gravity and all. That'll do it. Full service. Went a little over that time. Might have to go backwards now. Oh well. Was too busy getting a nice panoramic shot than actually paying attention. That'll do it. Nice to see you made it in one piece. Keep the train parked up here until dispatch gives you the green light. So while we're waiting, we'll go for the safety. Gen field off. Where's fully apply that one. We've already got a full service on the normal train brake. That's it. Well, thank you for riding up the hill with me through the smoky atmosphere. And a well-deserved silver, because I went a little fast in a few places. But anyway, all good. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this, and see you later. Subscribe if you haven't. Give it a like if you like it. Bye now.